Hey everybody, it's Mr. Haskin. I'm back with things you should know by being alive. On this one, I want to talk about an important Supreme Court case, Marbury v. Madison from 1803. I want to talk about the context, what happened, the decision, and why it matters for judicial review and constitutional government. So let's get into it here. So after the election of 1800, that contentious election, Thomas Jefferson, the Democratic Republican, defeated John Adams, the Federalist, and Aaron Burr becomes Jefferson's vice president. But anywho, I made a video on the election of 1800. But before leaving office, John Adams and the Federalists passed the Judiciary Act of 1801, which created new federal judgeships. And so Adams appointed several midnight judges to fill these positions before Jefferson took office. So, William Marbury enters the picture here, and he was appointed as a Justice of the Peace in the District of Columbia. However, Marbury's commission wasn't delivered before Jefferson became president, and Jefferson's Secretary of State, James Madison, refused to deliver the commission. Marbury filed a case directly with the Supreme Court seeking a writ of mandamus, which is a court order to force Madison to deliver the commission. So, what were the key questions before the court? So, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Marshall, had to address the following. Did Marbury have the right to his commission? If so, was there a legal remedy? And could the Supreme Court issue a writ of mandamus in this case? And so this case was about power and the law and the Constitution. So, what was the decision? So in 1803, the Supreme Court ruled that Marbury had a right to his commission. 2, a writ of mandamus would be an appropriate remedy. And 3, however, the section of the Judiciary Act of 1789 that allowed the Supreme Court to issue writs of mandamus expanded the court's original jurisdiction beyond what the Constitution permitted. Therefore, that section of the law of the Judiciary Act of 1789 was unconstitutional, and therefore the Supreme Court could not issue the writ. So, this is where we see the establishment of judicial review, because this case established one of the most powerful aspects of the court system, the power of the Supreme Court to declare laws and actions of Congress unconstitutional and to interpret the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. This was not explicitly stated in the Constitution, but Marshall argued that it was implied to maintain checks and balances. Why does it matter? Well, Marbury v. Madison did effectively 3 things. 1, it cemented the Supreme Court as a co-equal branch of government. 2, it ensured the Constitution is the ultimate authority as the supreme law of the land. And 3, it shaped how laws would be interpreted in the United States. It was the first time the Supreme Court struck down a law as unconstitutional. This defined the court's role in our democracy here in the United States. So what's the legacy today? So, judicial review from the Marbury v. Madison case has been used in cases like Brown v. Board of Education, Roe v. Wade, and Obergefell v. Hodges. And it remains as one of a cornerstone of how American law and constitutional interpretation function. So, kind of wrap it up. Marbury v. Madison, which was a unanimous decision, 4-0. The court at the time had 6 justices, and 2 of the justices decided to sit out. But anyway, Marbury v. Madison wasn't just about a commission for Marbury. It was about establishing the power of the Supreme Court to uphold the Constitution. All right. If you learned anything new today, if you enjoyed it, hey, like, comment, follow, share for more things that you should know by being alive. Because understanding a case like Marbury v. Madison helps us understand how power and law and rights are balanced in the United States. Thanks for watching.